I'm Marina Kim and you're watching the news from Kazakhstan. On Friday, the police foiled the attempt of the unregistered party Alga to distribute reprints of a new article the out-of-favor businessman Mukhtar Ablazov gave it to a Russian newspaper Vedomosti. The banker shared the details of his current litigations as well as backstage intrigues of Kazakh authorities, including the forced nationalization of BTA Bank and the internal power struggle among the Kazakh elite.
Mukhtar Ablazov gave an extensive interview to the popular Russian newspaper Vedomosti, speaking about his litigations with Kazakh authorities, among other things. The party Alga attempted to reprint the article and distribute it in Kazakhstan, but was stopped by the police, which confiscated the publications and took Alga party coordinator Vitaly Pechernych and activist Natalia Rotova to the district police department.
Полицейские поступили как обычно. Как обычно, это значит по-скотски.
The police acted in their usual lawless way. Of course, we will give our own assessment of this incident, although it is already clear that their actions were illegal and cowardly.
After spending several hours in the police department and writing explanations for their actions, the activists were released while all of the reprints were confiscated as the material evidence. The hearing on case of another group of activists, this time of the Kaznet Freedom Movement, was held in the Almaty Administrative Court. The reporter of the newspaper Respublika, Zhanna Baytelova, was fined for $183 after the court found her guilty of participating in an unsanctioned rally. Interestingly, another rally organizer, Irina Mednikova, was only issued a reprimand.
Apparently, since the members of Kaznet Freedom Movement were seen whistling, carrying posters and voicing their claims to the board chair of Kazakh Telecom, they can be easily found guilty of an illegal rally. Zhanna Baytelova has been already apprehended for the participation in public actions before, hence she received a more severe punishment this time, explained the law enforcement authorities. On April 21st, Kaznet Freedom activists attempted to pass their petition to the head of Kazakh Telecom. The users believe that the national provider blocks the access to a number of websites, especially with political content, and thus violates the legal right to information access. Later, it was impossible to prove that the reporter of the newspaper Respublika was simply carrying out her professional duties during event.
На самом деле я абсолютно не согласна с тем, что нас сегодня привлекают к ответственности.
I completely disagree with all the charges. In general, this law contradicts the Constitution, and the Constitution is the main law of the country.
Эта статья, она противоречит нашей Конституции.
Not all rallies and demonstrations end up with arrests and reprimands. On April 23rd, Almaty students were giving flowers to all passerbys as a sign of a victory over tobacco smoking. This particular unsanctioned action was completely ignored by the police and other authorities, unlike the laying of flowers to the Independence Monument on April 17th.
Clean air for you, for me, and for the country.
For a whole hour, Almaty students were giving out flowers to all smokers they met on their way. Friday marked 200 days since the introduction of the ban on smoking in public places. The police ignored the event altogether, and a school inspector was the only official at the scene.
I was just curious what was going on and came here to check out the action.
The action's organizers from the Coalition for Kazakhstan Free of Tobacco Smoke admit that they did not approve their demonstration with the city administration. Teacher Yelena Ovchinnikova believes that similar events do not require a special permit.
No
approval is needed for legal public actions. Almaty authorities admit that they do not know anything about permissions to hold anti-tobacco demonstrations.
Disciplinary sanctions will be used against them only if they will be detained for rallying in an appropriate area.
At the same time, the chief editor of newspaper Svoboda Slova, the freedom of speech, Gulzhan Yergalieva, is being seriously prosecuted for laying flowers at the Monument of Independence on April 17th. According to the charges they use against me, I could be sentenced to either a maximum fine or 15 days in jail. Yergalieva says only one difference between laying flowers and anti-tobacco demonstrations. Students' actions do not contradict the government's policies, unlike civil initiatives. That is why her action was considered a violation of the law.
Almaty Inter-District Court postponed the trial against Sulubike Zhaksalikova, the activist of the Movement of Construction Interest Holders and Mortgage Borrowers Kazakhstan 2012, who was arrested on Thursday for the participation in yet another protest.
Sulubike Jaksylykova, the activist of the movement Leave Housing to People, is charged with non-compliance to the law enforcement authorities and can be jailed for up to 15 days. However, the trial was postponed for undefined period as the case was sent back to the Bostanlık District Internal Affairs Department for the finalization set for attorney. On April 23rd, about 50 movement activists came to support her in front of the court building.
We're quite confident that the authorities used the wrong article of the code to charge Jaksylykova, as there were no elements of crime or violation in her actions.
On April 22nd, Sulubike Jaksylykova and other movement activists held a rally in front of the offices of Temirbank, protesting against the confiscation of mortgage apartments to cover unpaid loans. The action was not approved by the municipal authorities, although its participants claimed that no approval was required in the first place.
A special exhibition was opened in a leading university of the country as part of the international conference dedicated to the presidency in Kazakhstan. The next report has more on Nursultan Nazarbayev and his extended 20-year term in the office.
Organizers of the conference dedicated to the 20th anniversary of Nazarbayev's presidency attempted to include as much as they could in the event, including presentations of scientific works, photo exhibitions, award ceremonies and celebrations honoring veterans and state officials. The most important aspect of the entire experience, though, is the display of complete loyalty to the president. Nazarbayev's role in the formation of Kazakhstan cannot be underestimated.
We trust and value the president and his work aimed at the development of Kazakh economy. There's no alternative to Nazarbayev. Even if we had a referendum tomorrow, all people will choose Nazarbayev again.
Evidently, the young generation also knows how to praise their president, seeing him as someone with almost superhero powers. Without him, without our leader, Kazakh nation would not be able to do anything. These same principles were used to select photographs for the exhibition. The president's grandeur was shown from all possible angles and aspects, save for the critical one. The exhibition also featured the presentation of a book by Russian political scientist Yuri Solozobov. He sees no hints of authoritarianism and only national peculiarity in Nazarbayev's extended rule.
Kazakhstan employs nomadic democracy. After all, Khans were also elected by people.
Apparently, the Russian scholar forgot that the notions of Khan and dictator are synonymous.
Leading public relations specialists also believe Nazarbayev has achieved a true hero status in Kazakhstan, all due to the work of the country's ideological machine. The matter was discussed in Almaty's International Business University during the recent PR days in Kazakhstan.
It is a fact that the society is mostly attracted to charismatic leaders. In the past, these qualities had to be natural and then later used to stand out of the crowd. Now, though, everything can be done with the help of mass media. Unfortunately, mass media no longer creates new heroes, says sociologist Alexander Rusanov. Hence, there are only two truly popular persons in Kazakhstan: Nursultan Nazarbayev, who became the president 20 years ago, and cult rock star Viktor Tsoi, who died also 20 years ago.
Mass media coverage is very important, and since there were no single policies after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the ideology was destroyed. As a result, we have a deficit of national heroes. While USSR worked hard on the matter, nothing is being done about it now.
The ideological propaganda is quite strong in Kazakhstan. Soon President Nazarbayev can join the ranks of Soviet leaders simply by the number of mentions on the national TV channels. Consequently, people fall for this and already consider the president as undisputable hero.
He has done a lot for our country. I can only say that he is the greatest president ever. He's definitely the smartest.
At the same time, students also want to see common people with their unique stories on the TV and in the press. One of such people is the young designer Salta, who debuted this year during the Kazakh Fashion Week. The young woman is already considered a hero by some, and she managed to do this without the help of PR managers. Unfortunately, while media attention is focused solely on the president, all other national heroes will have no chance in this popularity contest.